Hey y'all, yeah, I'm back and I will probably be making not even probably, I'll be making a couple videos because I got a lot of shit to talk about because I've been involving myself in a lot of studies, if you will. But yeah, as I'm showing y'all this like remastered, remixed, like what is it? Hired resolution rather video of an older drawing that I did that kind of relates to, um the things that I'm going through now and the things that I've been talking about and the things that I'll be discussing in this video as well. So the three talking points that I want to talk about in this video are: 1, how I art; 2, apologizing to yourself; and 3, conquering the dark. So the first one, how I do my art. I literally just fuck around until I like what I see and I keep going from there. I'm also reading from my phone, so it's easier. Damn it. Anyway, spiritual alchemy, if you will. That's how fire was created. That's what all our higher dimensional ancestors are constantly doing in the spiritual realm. You know, I took 4 gel tabs of LSD once and I found myself playing with cosmic sticks and stones, realizing that is how everything continues to create each other. Everything creates and destroys everything. Destroys. Over and over again. From the largest scale you probably can't even imagine to the smallest. It was so cool for me to understand that it's really that simple, yet subconsciously vast as a concept that most people may not grasp without truly experiencing. Also reminds me of another one of my first trips I ever had, where I kept transforming into an egg, then into all possible and impossible things, and back into the egg, then back and forth over and over again. It was a lot. But I hope that's understandable because that's how those trips were. Shrooms and other hallucinogens. Shrooms and other hallucinogens safely taken for sure connect me with my real spirit family. But mind you, you do not need to take any substances to reach these conclusions, as they are already within you. Your Akashic records. Since I was very young, I was trying to find any means that wouldn't hurt me or anyone else for real to phone home, like ET phone home. Well, ET go home, but Anyway, whole time I am the phone. We are the conductors, and yet these experiences led me to get it all, as one does over and over and over and over again, only to mentally start slipping and forget when living in this waking dream, kinda prisonish, cell cycle we call life. Like, also I spelled it as like CELL, like, even if y'all get that, I'll probably discuss further into that because we're gonna get into some shit today. Anyway, but not the cell. That'll be for another time. But anyway, let's continue. Number 2. You really have to deeply apologize to yourself and all the self-inflicted damage you've caused yourself. To truly self-govern, you have to adhere to your entire sovereignty, the empire within you, and to be honest with yourself, even if you can't with anyone else. At least start there. Being completely honest with yourself is your saving grace, but with love. That's why we don't kill the ego or eliminate all our shadows, but meet with them to understand them, just like our pain. From there, we dictate the energies we want to keep and let go of to become free energy in the cosmos. Again, self-government. I can't stress this enough, but I'm not stressing, we ain't stressing. I wanted to get the actual recording, but all my tech was buggy for a few hours and it's been storming outside for days. That was a few days ago. I've been working on this for a bit, but yeah. Anyway, this woman that I was watching online said, "It's the inner child that is angry and filled with grief after that part of your innocence died. The anger is the beginning of the healing stages, but it's not the end. You have to learn to eventually release the sadness and anger that's in disguise." Sadness is the anger in disguise. She also spoke about releasing judgment of your inner self and your inner mother and father. She said, paraphrasing here, being angry at others for what they did to you, but also being angry at yourself for allowing it and for what happened. As if you could have done anything differently. So young. As if you knew better. You did your best in the moment. You were just incomplete and taught wrong. Side note from me. The wrongful teachings just continue to get passed down from generation to generation, which is also why we generate the same generational trauma within each one that is born next. She continues. Your learning was incomplete by the people who should have taught you how to respect yourself, love yourself. You were not taught those things. Or you were taught in an abusive way in and of itself. Another side note from me. Yeah, an example from my life would be when I was super young, like 8 years old or less. I was at the mall with my dad. A dude working at a glasses kiosk accidentally dropped a tray of like 40 to 50 glasses, and while everyone else walked around him, almost walking on the scattered glasses on the ground, not even batting an eye or asking to help, I went down and got on my knees and started helping him. My dad quickly pulled me up out of embarrassment, I'm sure now, and told me that I don't have to do things like that. I asked why, and all he said was that things like that are not my business, and I don't have to unnecessarily help people all the time. Because that's the kind of child I was. Saying hi to everyone, helping everyone, being there for the kids who stood by themselves in the back because I understood what that was like. And as someone who was forced to be alone for 18 years, I just couldn't stand to witness others actively going through the same thing. I had my bad habits, like over-trusting, which is what my dad was really trying to ring into my head too. But still, we need more compassion in this world, and the generational passed down teachings of having to be selfish in a selfish world is just creating more and more, selfishness and isolation in this world. Another thing both parents, mainly the birth giver, instilled was to be seen and not heard. As y'all know, that in a lot of foreign households, you had no voice. It was their way or go to hell, literally. And in that household, I still got punished, even when I was right, micro admitted to or not. Like I literally micro admitted to, barely admitted, and fucking admitted, because there really was never any admittance. So that's also why I speak out now. To break out of instilled fears placed upon me by the world, but also those I love the most. Those who were supposed to love me just as closely. So now, I give all that love to myself and the beings who actually been here for me the whole time. Earthly blood or not. Anyway, the woman continues. Taught through judgment, and you fought against it, but it was like you came out of the frying pan and right into the fire. And that gave you rage too. Like, how was I born? This is me now. Like, how was I born in the frying pan? I jump out of the frying pan and now I'm engulfed in actual hellfire. And being angry at the fact, this is her and me, but being angry at the fact that there was a frying pan and a fire to begin with. Like, I'll end it there from her. Shout out Miss Lady. I'm gonna put her like somewhere in the, because I found her like YouTube stuff. Links and all that, like all that stuff. But yeah. She was spitting. And it was, man, anyway. But that's where the acceptance part comes in. And finally figuring out that you only have control over your state of being and the actions you take while you deal with the pain you temporarily carry. And that the love you withhold, especially from yourself, is the pain that you will carry lifetime after lifetime. I've quoted this before, like a couple years ago. Again, like, man, that quote. Yeah. Because all pain is temporary. Love is forever. The love will always be there, even during painful periods when you can't seem to quite feel it at that time. Let love be a driver too. And not just waiting for you in the cosmos, like Sophia. 2 million centuries is temporary, you know, it passes. Like, I don't know how long she was gone, but you know. As with the rest of time, like that, you know, like that. Hold on, let me take these. As with the rest of time, like that, let your thoughts pass by like clouds. Like that post I made a few years back, that I was gonna turn into a t-shirt. That was on IG. I don't know. Maybe I'll put that up there too. Y'all see it probably. Anyway, you cannot run from your pain. Sophia's allegory and her being an embodiment or aeon of wisdom. Again, only a droplet from the waters of the monad, apparently beyond. Again. All this really sunk deeply into the depths of my soul, because why do we seem to end up worse when we only want the best for ourselves without trying to hurt others at all in the process? At first, I felt like what she went through was some unfair shit, but in fact, it was some unfortunate self-inflicted cause and effect stuff. She created senselessly, but she didn't know. She just wanted to be like Source, her own source, in a sense. And to me, there ain't nothing wrong with that. That's probably why she wasn't punished by the monad for it. Thus was able to return to the pleroma at a higher position so that she could clean her mistakes. But because of how strong the demiurge is, the change is needed from within all levels and realms that have been affected. So this is why it is up to us to save ourselves from damnation. Again, Sophia wanted to be an individual creator that and of itself, in a sense, to create her own vast, expansive waters. But the demiurge was the consequence of her desires. A fucking serious one. But I still had to question. Was that perhaps too selfish of a want? Because the divine waters are for the all? And because you and me are the all, and together we make the all, that ripple of trying to basically separate from ourself, cause dimensional paradoxical contradictions to the point where your cells, again, cell, cells, are even thinking they're individuals as well. You want me to run that back? I'll run it back. And because you and me are the all, and together we make the all, that ripple of trying to basically separate from ourself, cause dimensional paradoxical contradictions to the point where your cells, cells, are even thinking they're individuals as well. Do cells have to go to work, as in the cells in your body? Yes. Every being works down here to some degree. This is a give and take system. Again, like life and death. They're just beings who constantly need and take more than what's being shared, like the Dracos and humans. But anyway, yeah. This is the literal ripple of separation on a minimum, maximum, minimum cosmic scale. Is this shit? I was questioning. But yes, it is a literal ripple of separation on a minimum, maximum, minimum cosmic fucking scale. So yeah, that made me actually cry because I felt that shit. Sophia's allegory also told my soul that there are moments in time where you really do have to know that where you are is basically because of you and that it is your fault. Even if you didn't mean harm at the time, even if you weren't the first hand to deal the blow at the being. Not to beat yourself up, but to accept the actual things for future self-betterment. I personally feel as though I have yet another opportunity to walk through the halls of a mentee, as I have done so before, yet failed the tests that led to the Omega time and time again. It's different this time, as I fully see every single worldly desire I still held on to so dearly, even if I said they weren't so dear to me at those past moments, even as I say this now. I mean, we could talk about exes all day, as I already have done so. And desires of the flesh, plus being tricked, but also tricking yourself into thinking that certain company can still be good company because everyone else says it's better than no company. But that's a fucking lie, because we're all still being taught wrong. I think I left that out, but yeah. It reminds me of the Lyran race, if y'all know that story. Home for real. And fucking Columbus, Yankee Doodle head ass. We aren't really alone for real. You just can't see that with your human eyes. But your eyes also don't actually see. Ooh, we're gonna get into that. Well, we're getting into that now. Light interacts with your eyes in particles or waves, electromagnetic radiation. Within our thin spectrum of visibility, the wavelengths determine the color, and the intensity of that wavelength determines its brightness, quote unquote. All that is sent to the pupil, then iris, then the 2D lenses, which focuses that light onto the retinas. Having two eyes that connect to the left and right part of the visual cortex of your brain. Where am I? Oh, yeah. Of your brain. Create the 3D effects of life. Binocular disparity. With the help of photoreceptors called rods and cones. If y'all remember basic biology, come on y'all. And neural signals or neuron cells, whatever. I'm not a fucking doctor, but again, basic biology. This ties into how the light is a lie, like I said in that post from years ago, and you've heard it from other people and all that stuff. But the light is a lie thing I said, a while ago, and Plato's cave and yada yada. Your visual cortex, occipital lobe, inferior temporal lobe, it's all there. It's all back there. Part of your brain sends the information to your eyes, and your eyes project images. In your retinas, you got retinal melanopsin ganglion cells. Ooh, when I was learning about this one, I was like, oh shit. So anyway, retinal melanopsin ganglion cells are the cells that apparently communicate with the brain, mostly at night. It has something to do with melatonin, I believe. And I'm gonna get into that because I was like thinking and processing and reading and all that and studying all that shit. But anyway, from your photoreceptors, to the retinal melanopsin ganglion cells, especially the P types, as they're the more abundant than M types. P's are smaller than M, but the P's are more abundant. The P types work with the cones in the photoreceptors of your eyes, thus have different responses to different wavelengths. But M type detects movement and P type detects shape and detail because P type is more slowly adapting. All that goes to the hypothalamic tract, a photoneural input pathway through to your spine with the help of your upper thoracic, I think that's how you pronounce it, cord, thoracic cord, a spinal nerve, and spinal columns, the intermediolateral cell column specifically, but also I think a few more. I mean, there's so much to get into, which contains sympathetic neurons, and those neurons are connected to the nervous system. Funny enough, gonna get into that in another time too, because another neuron called the superior all that goes to another neuron called the superior cervical ganglion, to the postganglionic sympathetic axon, another spinal nerve inside another one of the ventral roots in the sympathetic trunk of your spine. Finally, to the damn pineal gland. And the less light, the more melatonin is produced in the pineal gland, which ties into so many other things. I'll probably dive deeper into the eyes, brain, and nervous system another time, but y'all can look into that yourselves too, because there's so much to learn. But anyway, and discuss and stuff like that. This is why I wanted to, let's talk. But yeah, anyway, more, But anyway, yeah. This also begs the question, what is life? But we already talked about that. We already talked about all that. A dream, quote unquote. And yet, very real. It's a yes and no thing. But I say that because I'd rather be alone, quote unquote, with spirit team than dancing with demons I know I shouldn't be. You know you shouldn't be. Listen to your senses. You know you shouldn't be there, Sarah. Not to say you should hermit forever and never have loved ones to live life with. But in this created prison dimension, this one, you have to learn to face yourself alone at times, in whatever way necessary, possible, etc. Because only you truly know what's best for you, and to unlock that, you have to exclude yourself from as much of the stimulated fake chatter that happens outside every day around everyday people who only talk about everyday things, blah blah blah, as possible. This is how we break free from the suffering that pain brings. Again, with love. And seclusion from unnecessary desires is part of that love. I used to scream at God when I was a child. I'm not even joking. Church would be happening and I would be alone somewhere, just screaming and crying, calling him a liar and asking why. I was fed up. The way I'm always hugging on my inner child in the past younger me, because my little girl was scrambled like eggs in every way. We've learned so much now. But even as I grew in age and in wisdom, continuously learning every moment of every day, I continue to often end up finding myself questioning, God, I love you, but why? Why do we learn yet still suffer? Have I really not learned already? Have I really not learned enough? Have I already not been through enough? When most of it hasn't even been fair. these answers came to me. Hold on, let me drink some water, cause again, we be knowing this shit. It's the lack of accepting the matter of it all that holds us back from moving through shit. It's being okay with the fact that it all hurts and meeting with that pain. Maybe sitting and having a cup of coffee with it. To understand it, as you see, this is part of spiritual alchemy as well. Your empire is also a laboratory that needs examination with respect and high fucking regard. As you use it to study your external environment, you, the soul, must study your internal environment too. Girl, not right now. I'm spitting. My cat is crying to me. Mama, not right now, man. Let me, I'm about to shoo you away. Pause. Alright, I'm back, y'all. There we go. I had to bribe the cat. Took a little break. So, yeah. But, as I was saying, can you stay in focus, bitch? Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. But, camera. Anyway, as I was saying, your empire is also a laboratory that needs examination with respect and high fucking regard. As you use it to study your external environment, you, the soul, must study your internal environment too. Yeah. Sorry, I lost myself for a second. Also, someone said a noisy mind is only telling you what you are not, and that's like so true. Again, you run your orchestra, empire, clan of inner shadows. Not to say you're possessed, but possessed, quote unquote, with archetypes of the multi-layered ego. You know, born into sin, born into damnation stuff. But you're the snake conductor, or whatever they're called, to your basket of many snakes. Kind of like my Liberated from Death art piece I did a while back. Showing y'all. But anyway. Lip balm too. This walk with self is not a get rich quick scheme. This isn't you're gonna feel 100% better all the time now from here on out, and everything will work out for you always without any problems from here on out scheme. Let me lip balm. But not to say we can never get there, but we're on the path to returning home, and the pain of self-acceptance is a part of that journey. It's not to get to heaven, paradise, Svarga, Oranos, or your choice of the Babel, like Babylon. Immediately, no weighing of the scales, free pass, go scheme. You have to put in the work. It's about stripping your desires and getting naked with God. Not in a sexual way, but also kinda, as things have sex in order to be created in every way, like mental sex. The emotion bonding with the thought to manifest external paradises or hells on accident at times, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I've been coming to learn. Like how Jesus went to hell first, then resurrected to tell about all he went through and what he learned, then ascended to the kingdom of heaven. Heaven, hell. Divine feminine, divine masculine. It's the meeting of the two that we're struggling to learn. But yeah. The next, the final topic, how I conquered my fear of the dark by facing the dark myself. If a child was shown a friendly monster, without ever being taught what a monster is and that they're supposed to be scary, would they be scared of it? I don't think so, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and quote unquote ugly can be scary, which is fucked up. But the darkest parts of you can be scary and fucked up. So, yeah. Face yourselves. Conquer the dark. It's not a bad place to journey in. It's a part of you. And at some point, you will have no choice but to. This is why most people can't handle bad or good trips from hallucinogens, because they will force you to meet those shadows you've been running from. That or they just won't work for real, from what I've been hearing. Lastly, they won't have any you won't feel much of an effect from them when you take them if you're not doing them correctly. You have to treat them with respect too. It's some real shit, but that's probably for a topic for another video too, to be honest. Lastly, with everything I know, there's a lot I'm still learning. I damn sure ain't better than anyone else, but I'm not worse than anyone else either. That goes for the majority, as we're all just doing our fucking best out here, and we all pretty much want, plus believe in the same things ultimately. And you are free to argue about that, as all of this is for open discussion to get us connecting more, again, like I said earlier. Whether we agree or not. No bad vibes, ill intentions, or evil wishes against others. At most, not from my side. As it should be. Not blatant or covert slander, but open discussion for the mental health and coming together of actual truths together. I'll say this again too. We are all teachers and students, not only to each other, but to ourselves. I'm not trying to be unnecessarily deep here. That's literally just it. Genuinely. And that's for everything I fucking say. Take care, fellow cosmonauts, and safe journey. I lied. I got one more thing to talk about, just a quick little side note before I actually go, but I wanted to say that anyone can become illuminated. Anyone can spiritually ascend. I'm sure there are people out there who were brain-eating amoeba in their past lives, but now we're here on a higher redemption arc. Eggs to larvae to caterpillars metamorphosizing into butterflies. You don't have to be any specific skin tone or from any specific background that your body claims to be, but your spirit is not. For you are no thing. And for my black people, yes, we can be racist. Yes, it is racist to specifically say that white people can't ascend because of their DNA and shit like that. That shit feels so backwards moving to my soul. My people are in pain, and the pain is still systemically prevalent today, but we cannot just beat up everyone because we feel we have that right to. We have every right to rage for our past ancestors, but they ultimately wanted world happiness, not for us to become the new slave masters and rulers. We are not the body, and I seriously mean this with love to everyone, for real. Also, honestly, at this point, being quote-unquote spiritual should just be called being quote-unquote again. If we're gonna give the niche a word, like how animals have ecological niches. They have their own language or means of communication, but they didn't have to put words onto what's instinctively done on the day-to-day. We're born, we live and be, we die, possibly rinse and repeat. Again, the way God intended. Nothing that needs to be distinctive and labeled so specifically. I mean, to be divinely united with Source is that in of itself a wonder that words can't quite describe to begin with, for real. Other than, like, it's a vast amazingness, because it is. But yeah, I'm done for real. Bye.